Hey everybody, I'm coming to you from inside my Zen Tent. If you don't know what that is, it's just my little tent out on my patio where I can keep dry and warm. You can see Rover's just chilling next to me. We got a 2-person seat here. He's got his own bed over there, although if this seat's open, he's gonna sit by Mama. And then we got some twinkle lights up, we've got a fire, and we got some birthday decorations going on. So, coming to you from inside the Zen Tent, I want to talk about mental health awareness today. And I want to talk about depression, anxiety, and medication. So, recently, I've been going through a really hard time. And as some of you know, I was diagnosed as bipolar, with bipolar depression. I have anxiety. I am prone to OCD habits, and medication has helped me. You know, I've been to therapy sessions. I have a psychiatrist. I've seen a therapist before, but medication, I know it's not for everyone. However, because some of these conditions, it is a chemical imbalance. A chemical imbalance, I can't fix that by praying and meditating and yoga. I know it helps. Don't get me wrong, all those things are helpful. I think you should do any activity that is healthy for you mentally. But I also, just personally, just a personal opinion for me, I need a medication, something to alter what my brain is doing on its own. And I don't have the knowledge to fix that. The doctors do. So here's the pros and cons to medication. Medication's wonderful because it can help. However, it takes a while to find the right one. Not all of them are the same. Some have bad side effects and some have awful side effects. It's really hard to determine which one is right for you. It's really, sometimes you just have to go trial and error, right? So I found an excellent anxiety medication and medication for my bipolar. But when there's times in my life where I'm less stressed and I feel like I can control my emotions, I will limit the amount of medication I'm taking. So I actually just went for about a 8-month spurt of only one medication, more or less for my anxiety, but it also helps to counter the depression. And as long as I stayed regular on that, I felt really good. I also did some just natural remedies. I made sure that I was active, that I went outside. Rover helps a ton with that because he supports me mentally, physically. I can't stay inside. He forces me out of bed. So there is something to say for our wonderful pets. They really do make a difference in our lives. He's made a huge difference in my life. Now, that being said, I went about 8 months-ish with only one medicine. Recently, I went through a really hard time. I had a rough January. And I was in a really dark spot for a while. Actually, I'm going to say December and January, really, because it started in December and it just kind of eked its way into January. Suicide is not an easy conversation to have. And it's embarrassing for me to talk about. I don't want to be embarrassed talking about it, but I am. It's just I can't help that. But when I was younger especially, I had suicidal thoughts. and I have had 2 instances of suicidal attempts. They were when I was younger. Well, one, I was super young because I felt trapped in an awful family situation. I was trapped in an abusive house, and I didn't know how to get out. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, and I want to just warn you ahead of time. If you are sensitive towards this, please maybe just don't watch it. or just watch it knowing that I'm going to talk about suicide, okay? Okay. And I'm going to try to get through this as best as possible because this is not easy for me to say. All right. So I grew up in an abusive home. And when you're trapped in a situation like that, and you're too young to understand, you're too young to know how to leave, to deal with that. No child should have to deal with something like that. Or adults, but especially children. You don't feel like there's another way out. And especially when the adults aren't doing anything to protect you, which was my case. Multiple adults knew of the situation and did nothing to put me in a better spot of life. Oh. Okay, I thought my dog was going to bark. Sorry. Anyways, I gave up one day. And I grabbed a knife. And I went around to the backside of our pantry. The backside of the pantry was open to the dining room. And no one could see me there if they were in the main part of the house. So I was more or less hidden. So I put my back against the wall. And as I held the knife in my hand, I thought, do I really want to do this? And I just didn't know any other way. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be abused anymore. So I held that knife to my stomach. And I pressed harder and deeper. And I stood there for a very long time. Thankfully, I did not go through with it. I cut a hole in my shirt. And I had a little puncture wound. But no one knew. I dropped to my knees. And I fell back against that wall. And I held the knife in my hand, just staring at it. And I wondered what I could do to leave. I'm so happy that I didn't go through with it. I'm so happy that... Hold on one second. Rover. No. Come here. He's a good distraction for me, so I'm going to let him stay here because it'll help me get through this. So Rover. Come here. Sit down. Sit down. Lay down. Stop. Stop. No. No. No bark. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Look at that good boy. Look at that good boy. Yeah. Yeah, you calm down. Yeah. Okay. I'm so happy that I didn't go through with it. But that doesn't mean I was just better. It was years, a decade more later, that I was diagnosed with bipolar and depression and anxiety. And since then, I've learned that you can actually, those conditions can be created because of abuse, because of things that have happened in your life. So, fast forward years later, living with PTSD, living still in an unhealthy environment, but better. I was married at the time, still young, in my 20s, but on my own, in a way. And again, I felt trapped because of a organization that was still hiding truths. And I never healed from my childhood. And so one day I was taking a bath, and I put my head under the water, and I stayed there. And then I just continued to stay there. And my goal was to not leave. I almost passed out in the water that day. I got up choking. It's hard to drown yourself, I realized. And I sought help because I knew I needed it. This was the second time in my life I felt that I was trapped so much that I couldn't leave. And I never wanted to feel that again. I never wanted to feel so helpless that I felt suicide was the only way out. So I sought help, and I started talking about it. And I started telling people and started being honest with those around me. And I'm so happy I did. Am I better? Yes. Am I cured? No. Absolutely not. So fast forward now to January 2023, just last month, a couple days ago. I didn't have a suicidal attempt, thank goodness. But I did do an emergency meeting appointment with my doctor, which, if anyone is feeling this way, please just call your doctor and make the emergency appointment. Just give in. Just do it. Worst case scenario, you can hang up on your doctor, right? Most doctors' appointments can be virtual now. Mine are all virtual, so I don't feel so much pressure being in front of someone. It almost is easier when I can just face a camera, and it's honestly just so nice. It's so nice being able to do virtual appointments. But anyways, she asked me, have you had suicidal thoughts? And I said no. But she did ask, have you had feelings of worthlessness. Yes. Have you had feelings of no escape? Yes. Did you shower every day? Are you brushing your teeth every day? Are you sleeping? Are you not sleeping? And so on and so on. And I started the appointment by basically crying and just saying, I need help. I can't do this on my own anymore. I did it for 8 months. That was great. I'm so proud of myself that I went 8 months with less medication. But I feel worthless. I can't talk to my friends. Mentally, I'm mentally blocked. There's just this block in my mind that's preventing me from calling anyone, from talking to anyone, from leaving my house. I want to stay in bed. I stay up. I can't sleep. Then I sleep too much. I needed help. And so I'm back on medication. And I'm on a pretty strong one right now, actually. It's a temporary, immediate relief. She said, most people say there's no way I'm going to feel better in 3 days. And then they come back and say, you were right, I'm better in 3 days. I feel amazing. So she said, just have faith. Just give it a few days. She goes, follow the process. And she goes, you will feel better. We will take care of you. I absolutely adore my doctor. She is an amazing person. She really listens to me. And she made me feel better even in that moment. So right now I'm back on medication. I'm on 2 at the moment. It's a fairly strong medication. But 3 days later, just like she said, I have been able to respond to my friends. I went out last night for the first time in a month. That was of my own. It wasn't a work event. It wasn't, something I had to do. It was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to leave the house. I wanted to be in public and talk to just people in general. And that's a really hard thing for me to do. So the fact that I wanted to do that was amazing and great. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to see what it's like. I want you to know that you're not alone. Someone out there is feeling the way you're feeling. Someone out there understands. And to be honest, you may not have friends that understand. You may not have family members who get what you're going through. And that's really hard because they want to be there for you. They want to support you. They want to give you a pep talk. And sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes you don't want to talk to them. You don't want to open up to them because they just don't quite get it. They just don't quite know what it's like to be in that horrible, dark mental hole. And to climb out of it is just nearly impossible. It seems impossible. Just getting out of bed every day. I mean, this guy right here is everything to me. Because he forces me out of bed. He relies on me to go to the bathroom, for water, for food. He's good for me. And to tell someone that, they can say, yeah, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah. I feel so bad for you. But until you've been through it, there's just this deep-seated understanding you only get if you've really been through it yourself. And I know so many out there are going through the same thing. So, my goal, my bucket list for 2023 is to not shy away from the conversations. I don't want to shy away from telling others that I understand that there's somebody out there who feels what you're feeling. And I think the more we talk about it, the better we become. It's how we learn, how we grow, how we can heal. We can heal by being there for each other. And the internet allows us to do that now. This is a big leap for me and for you for even watching. So if you're watching this and you're having a hard time, or maybe you've just experienced it in the past, if you experience it again, I want you to know you can always reach out. Find someone as well near you that maybe has gone through something similar, and be open to talking about it. Be open to getting a cup of coffee and just relate to each other. It goes such a long ways. I have a friend who messaged me this morning, and she reminded me that she herself has been through something similar. And she said, I understand if you just need some space right now. She goes, I understand what that's like when you just need some time. But I'm here for you, and I love you, and I will continue to check in on you. And I told her I cherished her. I cherish her. Because sometimes that is all someone needs. They just need someone to say, I'm still here. When you're ready to talk, when you're ready to go out for coffee or breakfast or whatever, let's sit on the couch and watch Netflix together. Let's have these open discussions. So, I'm in the Zen Tent today. I feel so much better than I have in weeks and weeks. And I'm extremely happy for that. I've even put on makeup the last 3 days, like full on makeup. Like I actually, put myself together. I washed my hair and straightened it. And this guy has gone to the park multiple times this week. He got out and he got his exercise, and that forced me to get my exercise. And I even lost a little bit of weight this week. So yeah, I'm standing in the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not quite out of the tunnel, but I can see it now. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't see it. I was in a really dark place. So if you're there right now, maybe make that doctor's appointment. Write it down. Or just reach out to somebody. Because we're here. I love each and every one of you.